Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 912 of the daily content streak. And it is a Monday, which means it's time for a news roundup. Everyone excited? Everyone excited to see what Transformer news happened that wasn't a leak? Let's clarify, Transformer news that wasn't just straight up a leak that wasn't supposed to get out, that we were really hoping Hasbro would have announced on Thursday. So, aside from those, we do have quite a bit of Transformer news. For instance, we do have the painted example for Omega Prime, which is going to give us the closest approximation to what the final version is going to look like that we're going to get. There he is with his display stand, with his sword. If you missed it before, and here's the individuals. If you missed it before, every tier was unlocked. We are getting literally everything they promised. We're getting a little bit more because they're going to add the missiles to Blue Bolts, so it's going to be a 100% recreation of Ultra Magnus with a bunch of upgrades, so that's cool. That's cool to get. If the paint is anywhere close to this is going to look pretty spectacular. I love how this is all looking so far. It looks fantastic. Now, this is the week. I believe it's Thursday when the campaign ends and people will officially start being charged for this toy. I want everyone to remember, because there is always confusion when it comes to HasLab stuff, it is not a crowdfunder to make this toy happen and get it released at retail. This toy will never be available at retail, even though it completed its goals. The only way to get this toy is going to be to pre-order it before Thursday. It is not supposed to be, you're crowdfunding to make something a reality. What you're doing is you're basically making a made-to-order toy. Now Hasbro just has a really bad way of framing it that makes it very confusing to some, and I hear it literally every HasLab. When is Omega Prime going to be at retailers? It's not. You asked me that about Star Saber. You asked me that about Unicron. It ain't happening. So if you really want it, drop the money. If you can do without the $250, if you can afford to do without the $250, remember, this thing is only going to appreciate in value. Even if you take it out and play with it a little bit, it's still going to be worth more than the $250. So if you buy it, and if you can do without the $250, go ahead and pre-order. If you regret it once you receive it, just sell it. You'll turn. It's a long term, but you'll turn a profit on it. So it's looking fantastic. There's your warning. Let's move on. We have in-hand photos of the new Legacy United Silverbolt, and it's incredible to me that the next wave of Voyagers for this toy line are Silverbolt and Cybertron Starscream. If I could marry a wave of Transformers, this one would be getting a ring. So we've seen pictures of Silverbolt before, but now we got some really good looks at it. By the way, the artist for the packaging art added a whole bunch of tech greeble to his wings, and I'm not sure why. Like, underside of the wing, fine. There's some engineering junk in there. Now, why on the top? Why on the top? It's weird. But point being, it's still a fantastic looking Silverbolt. We haven't heard anything about Takara releasing this the same way they released a lot of their Beast Wars Again figures with upgraded paint apps. That said, it still looks really, really close to how he looked in the show. Keep in mind, Season 2 stuff was a lot more accurate to how the toys looked. So recreating it, not as big of a challenge. So that's created a very nice, accurate Silverbolt, even without Takara upgrading the paint. He looks so good. He looks really, really good. I'm super excited for this one. Silverbolt's like one of those characters you never thought would get a redo, but here we are. Yeah, size as well, too. There he is next to Tigerhawk. Yeah, it's a... when a character that was a deluxe goes up to Voyager, you kind of worry a little bit, but it seems like they've done a pretty good job upsizing him. I'm super excited. Just as a point, Kotori Prime, the guy who did the photos of the Cybertron Starscream, actual patron of the channel. I did not credit him properly because I did not think it was him. I thought he just found the photos. But no, he took the photos. He has the Starscream. I'm incredibly jealous. Alright, so let's move on. Let's move on before jealousy overtakes me. We have some in-hand shots for Studio Series 86 Blaster, which we just got a good look at for the first time during Hasbro's the live stream, which would have been a great reveal that we hadn't seen before, had had it not been announced just a few hours prior. So that's Hasbro's marketing going off. Yeah, we see eject compared to his original side by side. Someone said, like, oh, it's still translucent plastic. I can see where it's still clear and it's just painted over. The forearms have been painted white to match the original. That's all solid plastic. Like, you wouldn't be able to get that all solid plastic. You wouldn't be able to get that look with just paint. Like, it would look a lot more glossy. It would look a lot more, it'd also be like cost prohibitive. It'd be really cost prohibitive to do it this way. Nope, that's all solid. Same with Blaster, solid all the way through. Yeah, it just looks so much better. It just hits so much harder as Blaster to me than the original toy does. And the original toy is still good. Like, that's still a really nice figure, but man, it just does not. It does not hit the way the new Blaster hits. And it is frustrating. It's frustrating that Hasbro's now gone with this approach of, we're going to do it first, and then we're going to do it better later on. Now, objectively, okay, it's whichever one you prefer, but for me, yes, like the 86 is definitely a nicer look for me. Yeah, it's just it's a nice figure that's like really hit its potential here. I love it. I got it pre-ordered. I need to get my eBay sales up and going because there's a bunch of stuff that's getting obsolete very quickly, and I need to move off from it. All right, so that's what's coming up down the pipe for 86. Oh, we do have one more from Transformers 86 because someone got the dead Ratchet. I can't believe they're doing this again. I can't believe they're doing this again after the first one failed so badly. How was any Target going to be okay taking this in when, like, I don't think I saw a single one sell. Like, I want to say that when this hit the clearance section on my Target's toy store, that it had just as many there as it did when it first came in. I'm not even kidding. I'm not sure anyone in my area bought this thing. And I know a lot of people said that, like, yeah, they were just piled up in the clearance aisle. That little clearance end cap they usually have. That's... and we haven't even seen the Brawn. So we only got Ratchet here. We didn't see Brawn. There are other in-hand shots, but you really don't need them. because they don't really... It really just seems like the same... it seems like the same figure, just painted windows and broken chest and... whatever that face is. Dying face. Thankfully, there's only 4 Autobots who die on that shuttle, so we don't have to get another one of these sets. Alright, let's move into another announcement. This one by Takara. The core class Bumblebee Starscream is officially revealed. This is still a weird choice, not only to make movie aesthetic full-size figures at core class, but also it's another Starscream when, like, it feels like we are just inundated. Is it just me? It feels like we got a ton of Starscream running around right now. Like, because we just got the Armada one. We're getting the Cybertron one. Now this one's coming out. I'm sure there's one I'm forgetting on top of all that. Point being, to my surprise, it's actually a pretty nice take on it. They're doing some interesting little things to kind of like skirt the transformation. Like, it looks good. It looks like a nice little movie Starscream. Like, can't take that away from it. Got, decent posability. I mean, I can see where the transformation is a little bit interesting, like with how the tail fins form the bulk of the leg. And then you see the way it transforms, where, like, that whole midsection is the real cockpit that folds up. You can tell where the legs fold back onto the back side of Starscream. It folds the cockpit and the nose cone with it. So it's a pretty simple and effective transformation. For something that's, like, pretty complex when you get the Voyager Studio Series version, this is actually a pretty interesting job shrinking it down. it's just a fascinating choice for me because literally the only other one that we have is the Shockwave. I mean, it's a weird selection that they've gone with. See, I feel like Core Class is missing a point because they need it for smaller characters, but they are missing an opportunity to make like the entry level version of a lot of these characters the way that like Legends of Cybertron used to be when we first started getting toys at this scale. It's interesting to see what they're gonna do because like where like it feels like Core is slowing down a lot. So it's interesting to see what they're coming out with now. They announced their Tidal Wave too, but their Tidal Wave is identical to the US release, so not a whole lot of reason to focus on it. So we can move on to a better look at that all-clear Mirage that TFcon magazine is going to release. It's interesting to me because, again, I said it last time. Now we get to see it in vehicle mode, by the way. This Mirage's trick is not invisibility; it's illusion. It's hologram. So to have him doing like the classic Mirage thing is a little bit weird. I'm not going to lie, it looks interesting. I think it's more interesting because they've left a few details painted, so there's a more dynamic look to it rather than just like, oh, it's just all clear and you can't make out any of the details anymore. That said, there's a lot of ball joints and thin hinges to this toy, so lifespan concerns me. I will say at least some of the ball joints seem to be reinforced, the hips especially. The actual ball socket there is not clear plastic. So there's a few points in here where I'm not as worried, but then like the shoulders worry me, the knees worry me, etc. Yeah, if you're grabbing a hold of this one, just make it an interesting display piece and move on from there. We have a little bit of a leak. Not a huge one, but we have a little bit of a leak. Someone got a hold of a prototype of the new Voyager animated Optimus Prime, and it has a faceplate head rather than the one that actually came out with his mouth, which is an interesting call. You can see the figure itself is not in a complete condition. It's missing its chest piece, which might indicate a remold that is not currently depicted here. This might just be a leftover part in the existing mold that has not been used yet. That's another possibility. We're not sure. We genuinely don't know on this one because this is just turned up. My hope is that the battle mask is going to be something that is included with an eventual like wing version that comes with like the wing blade set. I believe it was called the wing blade set. But essentially, yeah, like the upgrades that he got in the final episodes. I want to see that version. We never got that in the original animated toy line in America, only in Japan. I would love to get for that to be another go. Release it as a leader class or a select version. Don't care. I just kind of want that final battle Optimus with all those extra upgrade bits. I'm still thinking about the fact that we never got the Power Master upgrade. And we never got anything that represented his full-size fire truck where you could stash a whole bunch of those Power Master parts and make a full-sized Optimus from animated. I would love to see that too. But, small steps first. Wings, gauntlets, and hammer, I will accept that for now. Or this might just be a multi-pack release. We don't know. We're all speculating here. Moving into non-Hasbro releases, Premium Collectibles Studio showed off their upcoming Optimus Prime, which is extremely stylized and sleeked down. There's a lot of detail here I would expect off of like a complex Gundam design rather than a Transformer. Like it's losing a lot of the blockiness, which it's fine for some. It takes away the aesthetic from me. I like the blocky big look, but it's a different style for a different taste, and that is something that is on the way. Now, if you want, the statue's also going to come with this. So this is, it's obviously Jetfire inspired from Revenge of the Fallen, but it's his trailer transforming into a giant wing pack, which is something that we've seen. I think Takara has done versions of Optimus Prime that work that way. This isn't a bad call. You know, it gets the trailer in there. It harkens back to a popular depiction of Optimus Prime. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be ludicrously expensive, but, you know, if you're into it, it's going to be available. That is a thing that will exist. This is just a sneak peek render for now. No other details on it until later. I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point. Speaking of the high-end Transformer collectible creators, 3-0 did have a booth at TFcon LA showing off a bunch of their stuff, including this Optimus Primal from their, you know, which is in their DLX line. There's the prototype for Scourge. We've seen the prototypes for some of these before. Fully painted Mirage on hand. This is kind of where the lighting on these kind of like, because in person, these displays that have kind of the light up bottom look and work really well. When it's in a camera, the camera really doesn't like it. So we're missing some details here. It's a little bit shadowed because of the weird lighting. Looks good though. Looks good. Like, I like Mirage enough that I would probably seek this one out, depending on how my budget is at the time. There's some good color. There's some good color. He looks good. He looks really good. Yeah, nice to see. Nice to see. And there's their Skywarp and their Thundercracker. I believe this is the first time we've seen them painted, like, and in person. I mean, it's the Seeker mold again, which is, in my opinion, a little bit over-detailed, but still looks nice. You know, just always nice to see the alternate colors for the other Seekers. So, if you were at LA, I hope you had a good time. I wish I could have been there. But you got a good look at some upcoming stuff, which is kind of exciting. There's another one. We talked about this last week on News Roundup, but now we have all the details. It has been officially announced. Premium Collectibles is showing off their Devastator museum scale statue. Now we see it in its full glory. And now we have all the details I was missing before. So you remember how the previous listing had a typo that said 10 to 42 inches tall? And my assumption was that it was the 4 that was mistyped. It was the 10 that was mistyped. I forget, because I'm not a statue guy, and I'm rarely at a collectible store that has museum scale statues. So I was not actually like thinking when I saw this and went like, oh, like a foot tall statue. That doesn't sound too bad. It'd be a nice little shelf piece. No. Museum scale. Museum scale is 45 inches tall, 41 inches wide, 34 inches deep. This is a monster. This is an absolute monster. And now we do have the additional details we needed. So there are swappable parts, so you can swap in his normal hand or a hand holding his rifle. You can swap in a visor head or the two-eyed head, depending on if you want toy style or cartoon style. Comes with a ruby ticket. No idea what that is. Does it lead me to a chocolate factory? I don't know. Platinum coin. It's like, I guess, to like prove that you really do own it if you're on the road. Certificate of authenticity, of course. It includes black gloves to handle it better, and what I think is amusing, a makeup brush. Anytime someone tells me, how do you clean your Transformers, it's a little weird when I tell them, big soft makeup brush, because it's perfect for getting dust off and it's not going to harm anything on the toy. It's my #1 cleaning advice. Go pick up a makeup brush for dusting. So it's going to come with all that to maintain it, which is great. And again, okay, the ruby ticket value at $200 off your next purchase. Okay. And it's a chance to win a 1-ounce real platinum coin. And a chance to win a ruby ticket valued at $200 off your next purchase. Okay, so that's what it is. I mean, for the cost, I better be entered to win something else. Swappable faces and helmets, that's nice. So yeah, this is a magnificent piece that actually comes in at just under just under $4,000. You can buy a used car for that. But if you love your Devastator, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. Good luck to you. Good luck to your finances. All right, let's continue. Let's continue off of that. So we got to see the Uno flip game for Transformers, which is so weird to see a Mattel logo on a Transformer item, but welcome to the crazy world that is 2024. We knew that Mattel and Hasbro were partnering for certain big things that they could not do apart. So, like, we know Transformers Hot Wheels are on the way. I know there's a few Mattel things coming to like popular Hasbro brands, but the first real thing we're going to get a hold of is the Uno game, and this is actually kind of clever. So Uno Flip is two-sided cards, and during the course of the game, you are forced to flip your hand in order to play, which creates a memory game to so your opponents can try to remember what exactly you have and play against that. Or just to throw you into complete confusion because now you're working with a completely different set of numbers. It's a chaotic way of playing Uno in person, but they've done something really clever with it. So they're using the stock art that that they always use. Because we've seen all this artwork before. Like, this is like the go-to artwork that Hasbro uses for licensed stuff like this. What's fascinating to me and what I think is super clever is that all the Autobots are the white side of the cards, and all of the flip side black are the Decepticons. That's actually a really clever way of doing this. Also, all the big characters are the effect cards. So, like, you've got, like, Ultra Magnus is a +1, Grimlock's a +2. A Hot Rod is a don't play card. Your Soundwave is your reverse. Blaster is your reverse. So, like, they're actually playing opposites across these two. Really clever stuff. Really fun stuff. I really like what they're doing. Also, my boy Blitzwing. Yes, number 9. Thank you. The values don't matter. The values kind of don't matter, but I guess they do in the points game. If you're playing for points, I guess it matters. But still, clever stuff. Clever stuff. I actually like what they've done here. And to wrap us off, we have our first look. It's March. It's March. We already know what the holiday ornament for 2024 is going to look like from Hallmark. And it's this. It's an Optimus Prime that I think they've done before. There's a Santa hat added. And it's in a very garish color scheme that throws, for some reason, black into a otherwise very Christmassy color scheme. I assume they're going for Santa's gloves and boots, but it is a very weird color to add in. And it's a very weird colored Optimus Prime to begin with. The Hallmark ornaments are usually like really clever stuff. Like, it's like perfect little recreations of G1 figures as like a little mini figurine. It's the major characters done in cool poses. This is an odd one. This is a super odd one. But hey, there's Hallmark collectors out there, so have fun. And that's gonna do it for our news roundup. Lots of stuff. Hey, this is why we talk about the leaks midweek, because I couldn't cover all of this in just one. We'd be here all day. So, thank you for spending your afternoon, evening, or whatever with me. I do appreciate it. And as always, I will see you next time.